All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, by Shem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the 144,000, as well as to the rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, Tazawan from GMS Atlanta, back with another edifying video. And this will be another update to the spread of these plagues and pestilences. All right. So this here is from Fox News, and it says first Clade 1 Mpox case confirmed in Connecticut after patient traveled to Western Europe. Clade 1 Mpox is linked to more severe illness and higher mortality rates than the Clade 2 strain. All right, so this is dealing with the monkeypox, and this was a topic that we spoke upon before, but now there's new cases. Okay, so let's read this. It says a case of Clade 1 Mpox, a more virulent version of the virus that causes monkeypox, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, has been confirmed in the U.S. as global health officials also monitor newly reported hantavirus cases in Europe. So, you know, this is tying all into what we've been talking about since, you know, the news broke about the virus cases on that cruise ship. All right. So you got the Mpox that's spreading. You got the H virus that's spreading. You have the Ebola virus that's spreading. So this is, you know, this is a it's becoming an epidemic. Okay. It says the Connecticut Department of Health said Wednesday that the state's first identified case of Clade 1 Mpox was detected in a person who recently traveled to Western Europe, where officials continue to monitor infectious disease activity. Mind you, there's a lot of travel back and forth, especially this year, this summer, 2026, because of the World Cup. All right. Now, this came out last week, all right, the 13th. All right. So it's been a week now, and then you have another 3 or so weeks until the beginning of the World Cup, starting off in Mexico, and then it's going to move here to the States, Atlanta, Los Angeles. All right. There's going to be different events, and there's going to be different athletes and different teams and different fans and people just traveling in general this summer to see these events. And that's not including the jet fuel crisis, airlines shutting down, the prices of flights going up, prices of flights flights in general being delayed, on top of the war that's going on. So you got to be cautious about where you're going to and where you're coming from. So it's just all bad, man. You know, it says the World Health Organization has also reported new H virus cases in Spain and France, drawing attention to the rare but potentially severe disease which can cause serious respiratory complications in humans. And now you notice all these illnesses that's been spreading recently have to deal with the respiratory complications, whether it be the crown virus, you know, the C Rona, whether it be the H virus now, the Mpox. They all have these different symptoms of respiratory complications. So things are ramping up, man. Okay. Now let me see here. There were some cases. Now I want to get this too. There's another case, first known case of severe Mpox strain discovered in NYC. So that was the last article was in Connecticut, This one is now in New York. Okay. Bear with me a second. Let me see. Okay, no. Now this was, hold on. So this was from, let me go back here. Right. So this one, this last article was May 13th. Okay. Which was last week. But then you had another case March 14th. So back in March, there was a case in New York. Okay. So it says the first known case of a more severe strain of Mpox has been discovered in New York City. It is called the Mpox Clade 1. Since November 2024, there have been 11 cases of this more severe strain across the country. So plagues are spreading, man. These outbreaks, these diseases, these illnesses are spreading. All right, and things are only going to get worse. Okay. Right. So now I want to get this one here. This is from the United Nations. All right. New recombinant Mpox strain detected in UK and India. The WHO urges continued monitoring. And like I said, that's on top of the H virus. That's on top of the C virus. That's on top of the E virus that's spreading around. All these illnesses during a time where the world is supposed to be coming together for entertainment and sports. You know? So let me get a few scriptures. Okay? Let me get Luke the 21st chapter on this one. Luke chapter 21. So this is Luke chapter 21 and (11). It says, "And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines and pestilences." So in different places, there's going to be a pestilence, which is a plague, a disease, an illness that spreads out. Okay? "And fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven." So this is what we have to look out for. Okay? Now we can go to Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. Let's see. Is it the 15th verse? Yep. Ezekiel 7 and 15. "The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within." These are the same things that Yahweh Shah spoke about, right? Ezekiel spoke on these things. Now you have, and then, so this is the Old Testament. This is the prophet Ezekiel, but in the time of Yahweh Shai, in the New Testament, he spoke on it as well. It says, "The sword is without, the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword. He that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him." So there's going to be more cases, there's going to be more illnesses, and there's going to be more people being unalive, from the diseases. All right. So now I want to go into the Apocrypha. All right. I'm going to try to hit these precepts. Book of 2nd Ezra, I believe it's the 16th chapter. This is the book of 2nd Ezra and the Apocrypha, which is a part of the scriptures, by the way. It is a canon book to the Bible. All right. So I want to get this precept here. verse 18. It says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings. Now, when you read, right, now this is what the prophet Ezra said. But now when you read to, let's see here. Let's go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew chapter 24. And let's read what Yahweh Shai says about what's going on. Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. That's definitely taking place now. And once again, it says that there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? So all the prophets from the Old Testament, different men in different kingdoms, to the New Testament, all saw the same events taking place. Okay? So back here in the Apocrypha, what does it say here? 2 Ezra 16 and 18. The beginning of sorrow. So this is what we're dealing with. And great mournings. The beginning of famine and great death. Okay? This is what is happening in the earth, man, and it's only going to increase. The beginning of wars, right? The beginning of wars. We're seeing World War III ramp up. The war in Afghanistan, that was years ago. But now you have the war in Ukraine, the Gaza war. Now you got the U.S. Israel-Iran war, and more wars. It says, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? And what are we to be doing when we see these things take place? We got to keep our patience, right? We have to keep our faith, and we have to keep pushing. As I've been saying a lot lately, pray, push, and persevere. The 3 P's. Okay? That's for all you brothers out there, and for you few sisters too. It says, behold, famine and plague, right? That's the illnesses, the pestilences spreading. All right. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So it's sent for judgment to those that are doing evil in the earth. That's why those of us of the hopeful elect, we pray that the Lord passes over us and keeps us from these things. Right? As Apostle Hall like to say, when these different groups were saying to take the jump shot, IUIC, ISUBK, you had members of IUIC who said that they, had took it, and it's believed that they died because they took, the Jew shot. But then none of the members of GMS, passed away. So, for taking that. So the Lord will protect those that believe in him. Okay? Because we're telling you the right thing. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish, Jacob's trouble, tribulation, are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. And people think that because things died down after 2020, 2021, that, they could continue on doing what they've been doing. But that's not so. Things are only going to increase. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Yeah, you thought it was good. Things went okay for a few years, but now gas ain't so cheap so more. Food ain't, gas ain't cheap so more, and food ain't so cheap no more. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. And that's the time we're living in. Sword, famine, great confusion. All right? Death, destruction. famine, pestilence, plague, and tribulation. All right? But the Lord is going to deliver his chosen elect. Okay? I'll read this verse here, verse 35. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So understand what's going on, man. Okay? So continue to watch, pray, continue to push, continue to persevere. Have faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And with that, I'll say shalom.